Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us for this last panel. I'd like to start with a few quotes, which I find is inspirational, and I think will be beginning our conversation, where we are with fantastic experts and practitioners who will join us today to actually explain how AI influence everything we do and how we react. So, quoting from Klaus Schwab, founder of the Executive Chairman of the World Economic Forum, we're standing on the brink of a technological revolution that will fundamentally alter the way we live, work, and relate to another. McKinsey & Company, AI and automatization have the potential to boost global GDP by up to 14% by 2030, but only if we ensure inclusive participation in this transformation. So we have huge possibility, huge transformation, and challenges ahead of us. So I'd like to set with the first question directed to you, Bianca. Where are we here today in terms of AI implementation, transformation, and where are we heading? Can you set the scene, please?
Hello, thank you for invitation. Maybe I will start with the short story. A couple of days ago, I was working with ChatGPT, like usually, and I was usually I was asking about drawing a picture, something I don't remember what was it, and not like usually, Chat told me about a lot of different tools how I can draw this picture. So I asked, okay, but you can do it, yes? And he said, okay. So actually, ChatGPT didn't want to work for me. He was like, it was like a human being which is trying to avoid, some effort. And I heard also another story. One of women I met yesterday, and I was telling this story to her. She said, actually, my ChatGPT was working with me. I was like putting more correction, and suddenly he said, może później, maybe later. And he didn't want to work anymore. Mm-hmm. So I think we are really on the edge of something big. Of course, this is the joke a little bit because we know that ChatGPT doesn't think so far. But now the battle, the world battle, is about creating general AI. Mm-hmm. So AI which is not based on dealing with only dealing with big data, but also AI with such a complex neurobrain, something like this, that it will be independent, and the level of complexity will be so huge that actually we will not be able to really compete with it. And now again, white men are trying to do it, and Sam Altman is trying to gather money to build kind of power plants, nuclear power plants, to generate this energy to cover this computational power, to build this kind of system. And this is a little bit scary because when we are talking here at this conference about application of AI, very practical thing, AI and business, but we should not forget that the world right now is going in quite controversial direction. And it depends on us if we will stay with this positive and controllable version of AI, or we will just lose, control and maybe even we will be like overwhelmed with this new intelligence. And I think that this is a very important moment, and that women should also take part in it. I don't know if you had the chance to read this correspondence between Altman and Elon Musk
when 2015.
They were setting OpenAI a couple of years ago, yes, and they were like, okay, it's me, it's you, two guys. Maybe we will also invite 3 other guys. And and this responsibility for developing one of the most important tools, but not only tools of 21st century, that they can just deal with this responsibility because they know what is good for the world.
But we have a chance,
yes,
because today we have 3 practitioners,
yes,
women, who are actually dealing with AI, developing AI. So maybe we'd like now switch to you, Sylvia, and tell you, because you're representing financial sector and you're dealing with helping big banks and financial institutions to apply AI. Can you tell us what AI is doing? How is actually making changes in this world of finance?
Yeah, I believe that banks have embraced this powerful technology and they are using it for their advantage. Well, banks have always been curious about new technologies and implementing them in their processes. And right now, it's the same story with generative AI. We estimate that over 70% of working activities in banking could be transformed
70%
with LLMs.
Working activities.
So maybe this ChatGPT is not that scary at all. And why? Generative AI can offer opportunities in 3 areas. Firstly, it can improve operating model of banks. It can reduce operating costs. Then it can bring innovation and differentiation in the market, and also increase our individual productivity. So when it comes to innovation and differentiation, we know that this technology can generate new content and insights about our customer, their behavior, needs, and preferences. And so with this knowledge, of course, it comes from traditional AI as well, but this mix of generative AI and AI, as we know it for over 70 years, can bring new personalized experience for banking clients. For example, generative AI can create a targeted marketing campaign to the right customers with the right message, and that converts in higher sales. When it comes to cost optimization, we see that we can automate repetitive tasks with generative AI, such as data entry, document analysis, or, I don't know, making notes after a call with the client. And this can free up resources to focus more on high-value tasks. This is a really nice promise for banking. And also, we all see that embedding generative AI in our daily tasks can increase our productivity. We can do our job better and faster using all kinds of AI assistants that summarize meetings, help us write emails, or find answers in databases. And also it can be applied in IT, because IT workers can be supported with AI assistants that can help them code, write technical documentation, or, I don't know, prepare test cases. So yes, I believe there's a huge potential that's actually been implemented in the Polish banking arena.
So we see that actually it has restructuring and it gains effectivity for the bank sectors and maybe for the clients. But we have this amazing here practitioner and expert, Monika, which actually works with the agrotech and actually work with agriculture, which is actually touches us all because it talks about only the efficiency of the land, but also what we actually put in our mouths. So can you tell us, Monika, what you're doing in terms of AI, how you're implementing it, and how agritech is actually now being fully transformed because it became much more science than it was before?
Yes, of course. And I have to say that agritech is very exciting to work in right now, especially because whilst I think for Sylvia, the finance has been on this digital curve for already quite some time, this is right now when agritech is jumping right on. And what AI and tools, for example, such as HortiView that I work in, support us in doing is making the jump from the what we call old school farming to the agri-precise farming, okay? So what is precision farming? Is using modern technologies such as AI, but also sensors, cameras, all of these tools integrating also via IoT to support the grower in their activity plannings in the farm at the very granular level. And to bring it a bit closer to all of you, because precision farming has a lot of advantages. Of course, it increases efficiency, it optimizes the resources, but especially it also has a massive impact on sustainability that we all know that right now the growers need to be focusing and all of us need to be focusing at all. So, for example, what we have is something that is called smart irrigation. Okay, so to tell you a story, Alvaro, that is a Mexico grower, a few years ago, he would basically every other day go and water their tomatoes because this is what his grandfather did and this is what his father did. However, right now, what happens is that he's using tools that enable him make a better informed decision. And growers have to make decisions taking into considerations a lot of factors, okay? So it's weather conditions such as wind speed, humidity, rainfall, etc., as well as, for example, soil humidity, which is measured constantly by sensors or electrical conductivity that I'm not going to elaborate on. But you can see it's many, and it's difficult to find and gather all of this information together. So what happens right now is that there are models, actually, that are telling Alvaro that actually he doesn't have to water at all for this week.
Because it's not the right time, the temperature is not right.
Exactly, the temperature is right, there was a rainfall, everything is okay with his tomatoes because the algorithms...
he saves water.
Exactly. And he's able to save water, he's able to save costs, and he's able to actually know and provide the best amount of water to his crops to optimize the growth. And maybe to give a second example, for example, what we have is cameras that are installed in the greenhouses that measure the growth of crops 24/7. This was impossible to be done with people only. And the models behind the cameras are constantly calculating with the images that they're receiving from the camera, the chances of the pests and insects identification. So what happens is that the moment the camera captures small pests being identified, they send alerts to the grower.
So it was taught before by AI. AI was taught with all the different pictures to how to recognize the
smallest insects, let's say whiteflies in the greenhouse.
Which a human could not maybe see, right?
No, because they're very early stage, okay? Right. So they receive the information from the camera, and at this stage, the grower can actually treat a smaller subset of tomatoes with less of the chemical products. It's same as with preventative health. So healthcare and agriculture actually have a lot in common. It's easier to treat at the earlier stage rather than later because you can use less medication and you can prevent it and literally nip it in the bud. So it's a very exciting area to work with, especially that it's growing right now.
Great. And Sylvia, can you give you any examples you actually did in your past years, implemented already with the bank sector?
Yeah, sure. But firstly, I must say I loved Monika's example. It's amazing how such powerful technologies can support our efforts in terms of sustainability.
We have many of these. We can talk later as also. I had to cut a bit.
Yeah, sure. So when it comes to banking, we usually start with some small use cases to support internal processes, also to allow organization to test the technology and allow employees to see for themselves how this technology can support them in their daily tasks. So we've implemented several chatbots that are sourced with document knowledge bases to support banking employees with resolving queries coming from their customers. And we are now covering more areas with this solution. Now we are working on Gen AI applications that will support more processes and back office processes. Like, for example, an application to support complaints management, where the application can extract key information from the document, prepare a summary of it, then
send
even
nice reply.
Yes, a nice reply, and maybe support us in evaluation whether the complaint was justified or not. We are also working in transforming contact center with an application that provides transcription from the meeting, summary, information about main topics that were covered during the call with the client, and information whether the problems have been resolved or not. It can create follow-up actions and even alerts if the conversation didn't go as planned. And currently we are focusing on providing our clients with innovative bots that will be exposed to the final customers of the bank
So that's very
without
challenging,
human in the loop. Proactive bots that can elaborate about the credit offer of the bank or support the clients with their daily banking in the mobile app.
Where to go to restaurant this evening, of course.
Hopefully, yeah. This is the future that we see.
I'd like to turn now to Krysia, because we just said how is actually influencing the sectors, and regarding people who are listening to us and they say, okay, where we should start? I am not a bank. I am not big agro, a farm. So how you will suggest a company which is in the process of transformation applying, and what they should start with?
Okay. I will come back to Bianca and the mentioning of this discussion on three guys that they decided, about the AI technology in the future. So everything starts with AI strategy. So this is the discussion, the first step, why the company, the organization need AI. What is the main goal? Is it the operational level, like chatbots in banks? Or I'm collaborating with banks and they are asking how to create ESG market with AI, how to support small and medium businesses. So this is like discussion, where is the place we can use AI. Sometimes I'm talking with companies and asking, where is the areas that you need AI, or just you don't need AI, just because of this, again, power.
Doesn't fit all problems.
Exactly. So this is something, digitalization is enough. And this is, in the era of AI hype, and it's really trendy. But I'm telling them, what is your problem? What is your vision? And it starts everything with the discussion about the AI strategy, about the strategy of the company. Another discussion is about how you are looking for the future, how you would like to generate new profits, how you would like to transform your business model. So this is a quite different discussion, and this is something that helps us to make a AI roadmap. Is it, some whole company needs to be transformed, or there is some specific areas the company should focus on where is huge problems, or in the future, for example, lacking talent on the market, and we are generating technology that is supporting to support such experts with not available talent on the market. So everything starts with strategy AI, but the next step is innovation AI. So this means, for example, not to invent another new AI, but how to use existing technologies and how to remodel how we deliver value, or maybe there are some needs that it was very difficult to deliver just because of the cost or some limitations, especially in the area of social innovation. So companies are also looking for this area, how to support clients, and especially in the social area of ESG, they're asking, how AI can support us. So first question is, why you need AI? And we just developing the strategy of AI. So it could be operational level, it could be the transformation of agriculture or any other. But this is the starting point, why you need AI, or maybe it's different technology.
Okay, so all the companies who are actually speaking, they have to start with why and see the potential and actually what's most suitable. But now I have to turn, because as I just said, AI is providing doing the huge disruption, and you can be transform areas, as you just said, like banking, agriculture, and healthcare. But what about places which actually the transformation is taking place, not really maybe because of technology, but because of climate change, and how you can provide a fair transition to these changes? And I'd like to turn to Eva, who actually represents a whole incredible department which is actually now taking care of transformation of from the coal mining area of Poland, which is Łódź, and actually it's Bełchatów, one of the biggest actually in Europe electrical plant, and how you handle this new transformation, these challenges which is happening, and so it's not going to be only left behind with actually this transformation could have this beneficial and have be the challenge turn into opportunities. What's your approach?
It's a huge challenge, and I resonated with your quote, resonated with me very well because the region faces huge transition from moving away from coal to different sources of energy production. I'm representing Bełchatów. As you said, that's the home to the biggest power plant, lignite power plant in Europe, and it is going to move away from coal within the perspective of 10 years at maximum because of two things. The one thing is the economics of production of power from coal, which is decreasing. And the second reason is that we are running out of lignite deposit in the region. So within a couple of years, we will have 7,000 people, miners and power engineers laid off, and it is estimated that one workplace in mine and the power plant sustains 4 businesses around the company. So you can imagine the scale of the transition. The problem is, or the challenge is, that it is estimated in Eastern Wielkopolska that faced such transition a few years ago. They are still in the process that the power generation in traditional mining, in conventional sources, is definitely much more labor intensive than clean energy. It is estimated that there are 5 workplaces of conventional power generation replaced by only 1 workplace in clean energy sector. So
against the efficiency, which is actually happening, and we all are reaching the efficiency.
Absolutely, absolutely. The technological gap and efficiency behind it. So with regard to women, and we talk about women a lot today, the problem is that women in the region are mostly dependent spouses of the miners. So there is a very traditional model of family in the region where we have a wealthy and well-earning man and inactive woman. So for them, the transition is the bigger challenge even because of their low employability. This low employability results from the fact that they don't have a motivation, they don't have educational and professional background because they haven't worked in her lifetime. They have the labor market in coal region is bad, is inefficient with regard to women. And last but not least, they are not feeling capable of working. So we have lots of programs dedicated at reskilling, upskilling these people, especially women, with motivating, with empowering them that they can be independent, economically independent, that they can have important part in public life, and that they can shape their lives. Because so far, the majority of them were quite passive. Mm-hmm. But it's a huge challenge. We are just starting. It's the process for decade. And I also were impressed by what Bianca said, because I read a lot of reports on transition from coal to modern technology. And in all the reports, there is a broad consensus that the transition might strengthen, might perpetuate gender inequalities. So it's a huge challenge for us.
So now I should turn to all this audience and listening to that maybe you are waiting for this maybe opportunity to actually change from coal or from different profession. look into what actually AI is providing women in terms of new professions. And as we know, as many jobs going to be displaced, many opportunities are actually arising. So I'd like to ask maybe with you, Monika, can you tell me what are new roles in AI where actually could be not only for women, but could be suitable and they're just raising, and just explain what are they doing. So the person who actually is employed in that role, so actually it opens horizons for many women and decide that maybe this is a right role for her. Can you just elaborate on that?
Of course, I would be happy to. So honestly, both AI and digital products open a lot of new roles, plus they add on more of the current roles that already exist, because this is a field and area that is expanding all the time. So working especially, for example, if you work in agri-tech or digital health as well, that I had a previous experience in, this is a very interdisciplinary area, okay? So there's a big misconception that you need to code to actually have work in all of the tech-driven areas, but it's not, because we equally need people, for example, with biological background that are able to understand the needs of the, for example, grower, the conditions, all of the weather conditions that are ever changing and how they impact the results and the decision of the grower. Somebody needs to feed this information. And there's an ever-growing need, for example, for product managers that are specifically focusing on understanding the customer needs and actually translating it to engineers and also to data scientists.
Understanding the client, understanding the psychology, the needs. So basically be empathetic. So you don't have to code, you don't have to do programming, you don't have to understand data science. You just need to listen and kind of translate into technology.
Yes, it's a lot to do with the problem-solving skills. It's a lot to do with actually translating the real world into a little bit of an IT world. However, everything happens within the human and business concept. So this is not something that you really need to have IT experience in, but more of empathy and understanding of the concepts and ease of translating these things so that everybody can understand it. Furthermore, AI and all of these tools, and I'm curious to actually hear others' opinions, it's difficult to implement new technologies in traditional structures. No matter if it's, for example, hospitals or if it's actually growers that prefer their own way of watering every other day without seeing the actual advantage, okay? So there's a lot of work that actually needs to be done by customer success manager, or sometimes we call it implementation managers, that actually work hand in hand with our customer potential users to help them navigate through the platform so that they can actually take the biggest advantage of it. Because the digital tool, the AI result is as useful as actually the data that they provide. So if they're not, for example, using it actively, or if it's not set up correctly, it would not guide them in the right way. And they may think, actually, this is not so much of a benefit. And this is actually where a lot of companies struggle most when implementing new technologies.
So you have to understand biology, you have to understand empathy, right? So this is all things you can switch to that. What about you, Sylwia? Where you see new roles, new potentials?
I agree with Monika, and it also resonates with what Krysia said at the beginning, because we start with the strategy. We always start with the business goal to be solved. So it's not that IT decides to implement a solution for IT. It's always a business problem in the end that needs to be resolved. So these people, project managers, business analysts that bridge the gap between technology and business are really essential to the implementation projects. I think that there will be also room for specialists in ethical AI, as we are now implementing responsible AI.
So maybe something what Bianca just said, that actually not only five guys couldn't rule everything, but maybe we can talk about.
And also classical roles, of course. We don't have to know how to code in COBOL, but we can switch to be a prompt engineer. And I think that you only need to have logical thinking and maybe some technology quotients to be able to perform that job. Also, PMOs are very crucial for each IT project. So
project managers.
There's plenty of opportunities.
Krisha, can you add to that?
I will add a very important one skill. It's imagination. Because as you mentioned that the mentality is the problem with implementation, but when everything starts, it's strategy, of course. But first, before strategy, this is something that imagine new reality, new words. And this is really difficult, but we as girl, women are good at that. So that's why one innovation was introduced in the Polish market, and it started with the imagination. It was like how to create ESG report on one click. So whoever, knows the process, and it took from 3 to 11 months. So we said, okay, just make it in one click. So everything starts in that. And also AI is on the narrow artificial intelligence, that means that different AI technology are used in one process. So everything starts with how to start. And secondly, I really encourage to enter innovation AI. So this is something that we can just create the word. We can just not only enter the technology, but we can just think about what we can introduce with AI. And this is very good to start. And there is no need high quality high level of education. So I also running workshops with bachelor students, and they are good at here. So if any women are thinking about how to start with AI, so innovation is a good starting point, because as others said before me, there's no need to be AI engineer.
Right. And Bianca, what do you think? Because you had so many programs running, and since women on Polytechnic, I guess, 10 years more, even more, 17. So you are, you really started. What do you see actually influence the women and to make them more and more interested in the fields? And actually still, because we still have the problems that we are seeing 15-25% only women are in the field. But what are your success stories? Where you think actually is a potential, and from learning from your experience?
I think that IT actually is a very good field for women, because, as you three said, this is not so difficult to join in. And so there is no barrier like technological education and so on. So just we need just to expose women to different interesting ways how you can work with AI, and I think that they are really open for it and greedy even, and I think that AI is kind of breakthrough in involvement of women in technology, because this is like on the edge of technology and social sciences or economics, and I'm sure you know that we have a lot of women in AI. And what I wanted to say is that the nicest success story I can tell, it's about a girl, young woman. She was a student, and she was participating in one of our programs, IT for She. This is like mentoring program, but also with the extended IT programming, computer science part. It was a couple of years ago, as I said, and now this girl, it's Pamela Krzykowska, and she's head of innovation and development at the Ministry of Digitalization. She's still very young, and she's deciding how to, implement AI Act, for example, for Poland. Yes, so I think this is very cool, and I think that AI really have this empowerment power for women, because we all can do something in AI. And what is most important when talking about AI skills, I think that this concept of collaboration with machine, it's something new, and it's like the whole new world. I can imagine that, I don't know, in 3 years, we are sitting here, but also one AI is also the equal participant of the panel. Yes, I can remember Star Trek and the whole, crew of Star Trek, and one guy was not actually a human. Yes, so yes, I'm very excited about this, and I'm sure we just need to clear the field for women, and they will do what is needed.
Well, at Future Colors, we have 68% of alumni are women, and we have wonderful stories of women who actually began from totally different industry or totally different education and entered and starting just exploring and then starting a course and then switch to a different profession, IT. And it's and every time they say, I regret that I didn't start it before. I regret that actually I had so many boundaries within myself, which is saying this is not right for me. Obviously, you are proving that this is right. This is a great place to be, and I think this is something we would like to leave with everyone coming for Women IT Day. So I'd like to know, do you have any other examples from your field which you think would be very inspirational for other women to join in, to jump into this technology? Would you like to share us before we actually wrap up and say your final kind of words or your pitch to all the women listening, why they should jump into AI and why they should use this transformative moment of the world to actually be part of this revolution? Do you have any examples you'd like to share within your company? Monica.
I can try. No, I actually have my personal story to share here, and I can, maybe do my mini pitch then, so the rest can continue. So AI, technologies, blockchain, Internet of Things, all of these things sound really, really scary, especially either when you're graduating or all of your experience come from a non-IT or tech background. And it's actually about starting very small. So, and trying to learn and apply your skills in these fields and technologies. So actually my career in IT started with a small hackathon that actually Bayer was organizing with the universities. Okay, so I applied to this hackathon where we had to apply blockchain technology to one of the Bayer areas, of course. And as a student, you do not know much about blockchain, but going deeper into it helps you conceptualize actually how the solutions may look like. So whilst I never became a blockchain expert.
This is some kind of buzzword. Go and just
I wouldn't know how to code it, but what everybody appreciated is the effort that you put to actually see how specific technology can make an impact on a business outcome.
Just as you say, Alvaro.
Exactly, as Alvaro, no? So, and this is right now what is happening with AI. So I will refer back to my favorite clothing sports brand. It's just do it. Honestly, it's a start small, try to apply and show that actually you want to prove your problem solving skills and your thinking about how to apply and how to use technologies in your everyday world. And it doesn't need to be in your work. It can be actually on a small scale projects that already show the process and how you can manage these activities. And I think this is one thing that a lot of people, not only women, but also men, are afraid of. And of course, I always advise people to do, for example, courses, because they help you understand the technology. But next step from theory is also applying it. And this is what I think and what I believe when we're looking also for people counts the most, is actually how they can apply the theory in the everyday world.
And see how it actually has impact and change.
Exactly. And these
and
activities
how
really
hundreds
help.
and thousands of Alvaros.
Exactly.
Grisha.
I think that I will add another path. So it could be start small, but also it could be start big. So this is also a big
The strategy in your head.
This is another step, because you can
picture.
just
Start small, think
Smart
big.
small is a great. But for example, if you are working in a company that there is no AI, so just be the leader, lead the change, and think about how to prepare yourself, how to go to the board, how to propose the change, but be prepared. So this is something that we can take the responsibility and create the change, and this is something that we can just start make happen. For example, I just come back from Saudi Arabia last week, and there is a quotation from the CEO, this is some kind of Ministry of Digitalization, that they are focusing for women not to be job seeker, but job creator. So this is something that think big about, if you are finishing STEM education, think how to create the job for yourself.
And if you're not, maybe it's surprising for you, but 70% of the STEM alumni are women in Saudi Arabia.
Exactly.
They're active in cybersecurity and AI and everywhere else.
They are educated, but there is a huge important to have the motivation to start. And I also encourage women to not to be afraid and say, okay, I can do it. And I did the same with my company. So next month I'm having a meeting in India. So I'm just collaborating there. I come back from Saudi Arabia. So I'm not being afraid from Poland and offering AI innovation from here, from Warsaw.
Great. Sylvia. Sorry.
I just wanted to add that I think that I'm sure that, of course, the situation of women in Bełchatów because of this transformation is very difficult, and the whole families. But on the other hand, actually, it may be like the start for something new, and maybe they will start career. And they will not be forced to stay at home. I'm sure that many of them want to stay at home, but I think that there is also a significant number of those who want to,
Absolutely.
Develop.
Absolutely. Me as a, I don't have success stories yet, but for the regional authority, the most important fact is to know what to do. So we know that we have to strengthen women's entrepreneurship. We have to open the mind as the women's mind. And as Blanka said, I'm listening to our discussion and I'm thinking, for the God's sake, we can skip a few, stages of development and go straight to the new technology world, because we don't need to. They don't go. The men, the laid down miners, they crowd in other manufacturing and services sector, pushing back the women beyond these sectors. So we have to find a new grounds.
Reinvent themselves.
Reinvent themselves to find a new areas to develop, to flourish. So that's what I thought.
Yeah, and I can easily imagine that the whole mine will be transformed into the crypto mine.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Sylvia, what would you like to say? What's your final pitch?
Okay, I think if you want to start a career or start a career in IT or advance in that career, you must be brave. You must believe in yourself and stick to your decision. I know it can be uneasy sometimes or many times, but you can do it, as my colleagues said. And remember, it's never too late. You're never too old to try. But also remember that compounding effect does not only apply to finance, but also to building your expertise. So if you start today, you can use this compounding effect to build a new area of expertise, maybe in IT, maybe in other area.
So thank you very much. Would you like to, Małgosia, would you like to add something to that? To all the people who are listening, and there are traditional roles, and there are thinking that this is it. This is nothing for them to help. Maybe they have to emigrate from Poland. What would be your message? I'm listening to all these amazing practitioners from AI.
I just would like to sum up with the motto: follow your heart and follow your women's intuition, because I'm sure that there is a hidden potential in all of us, and we just to try to be brave and go beyond the traditional roles. And I think that if we stick to what the heart or the women's intuition tells us, we will succeed.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much. I'd like to thank Sylvia, which is actually, again, practitioner and helps build AI solutions for banking sector. Thank you, Krisha, who's actually doing consulting to companies, how starting with AI with the companies. Thank you, Monica, for this incredible story and how agriculture is transforming and how using AI to help Alvaro and other Alvaros around the world. Thank you, Bianca, for being us and doing all this for since 17 years. All these projects will help more women to STEM, more women thinking about their careers and actually their education and building to not only AI with 3 men, but much whole, as we can see. And thank you very much, Małgosia, but for you doing this incredible job and doing the fair transformation in the area, which is actually now is doing biggest challenges and doing the micro. You are actually in the micro world where actually the whole world is watching. So thank you very much, and come with. And I'm just doing a last wrap up with the end of this today's session. So stay tuned with us and don't leave yet.